Do you keep losing to serve volleyers? Here are 5 strategies to make sure you turn the tide and outsmart them. Playing a lot of club level doubles, you will see lots and lots of players serve volleying, both in doubles and of course in singles. And it is something that people really struggle with because it's unusual, you don't see it all the time, and it starts to make you uncomfortable and starts making you do things you don't really want to do. Also, you may just be thinking, I just don't know, how do I deal with it? Someone serves and volleys, they just keep winning at all the points. And I don't feel like their serve's that good, but it just seems to really work. Well, I have got 5 strategies, 5 tips, 5 tricks to really make sure you put that serve and volleyer under pressure, to not give away those 3 points, and to make sure you're making it as uncomfortable for them as possible so you can get those all important breaks of serve. Some of the tips are slightly more singles focused, some are more doubles focused, but they are generally to be used for both types of games. If you can do this and negate that serve volleyer, they can lose their entire tactic, reduce the influence that serve has on their game, keep them to the back because they suddenly lose confidence in their serve and volley approach, and that can really help you turn the tide. So stay tuned to get the best 5 tips for being a serve volleyer you have ever seen. The first thing you must do when facing a serve volleyer, whether this is singles or doubles, is make your return. It is so easy to think, they've come in behind the serve, I need to hit a winner off this, I need to go down the line, I need to try and create an angle to try and win the point. That is what they want you to do. Them moving forwards is putting pressure on your outward shot. With their location, we want to rise above that, make the return as you normally would, and make them play that extra volley. Certain volleyers rely on mistakes from the returner because they try and overplay. So your first thing you must do is make returns consistently of any kind, and that is going to put you in a much better position because you're going to make them have to play volleys over and over again. So tip 1, make the return. Now we are making our returns, the second tip is about the height of your return. Now, serve volleyers want volleys around chest height. They want to be able to cut through the ball, place it down through the court. They don't want to be stretching. And this is where our return our return height comes into play. We want them to be either reaching up or reaching down. We need high and we need low. So we can either aim down to their feet where they've got to pick it up. Obviously, if they're volleying up, that's going to give us the opportunity to attack the next ball. Or we want them really reaching for a high one where it's too awkward for them to drive down. They're just going to have to make the ball and again, probably set you up for your next shot. So we're making sure they're stretching up and down, not at that comfortable chest height. You want them down playing up or high really stretching, and when you do that you're going to negate that first volley and put yourself on the attack in the rally. When the net is involved at any point during a tennis match, whether that is you coming forwards, your opponent coming forwards, or you or them at the net already, angle is super important because as the angle is put on the ball, the court gets wider and it's much harder to defend. So in this case, when your opponent is coming in after the serve, you want to keep the court narrow. They want to widen it, you want to keep it narrow. If you don't give them any angle, their volley is going to come straighter and you're going to have a much better chance of getting that next ball back. If you try and pull them out wide, you've then got to cover the angle back in front and the shot down the line. So we want to tighten up the court when they're playing, and when we choose to widen it and when we choose to use angles to try and get it past them, that needs to be at an opportunity where we don't think they can get it back at all. So try and tighten up your return, try and keep it as straight as you can to not give them natural angle to keep the ball away from you. That is the simplicity of tip number 3. We've now spoken about making returns and doing high and low and the direction of straight. The next tip is to vary between these. You can't always go down to someone's feet. You can't always try and stretch them high. You can't always go back straight. You need to make sure your return, assuming you have the confidence and the ability to put something on it, to change it, is varied, is making it tricky for them to play that first volley, because sometimes it's a forehand, sometimes it's a backhand, sometimes it's high, low, fast, slow, whatever it may be. You never want to give your opponent rhythm, whether that's from the baseline or in this case, as they move forwards after a serve. So mix it up, give some height, keep it low, use slice, use topspin, mix it up make it as difficult as possible for them to get a look and an idea of what they're going to get all the time. Use variety, make it very difficult for that first volley. Tip number 5, and this is the special one. This is when all else fails, if you're under pressure, you're stretching for this return, or maybe even you're in a rally, maybe they've held back for one and then they've approached you and then come in, and you're on the stretch and you can't really do much. Put a heavy slice on the ball. Now, you may be thinking, what are you talking about? I'll be so slow, so floaty and easy. But the amount of times I've seen this done in club level tennis is remarkable. If you put a heavy slice on the ball, as that volleyer comes up to volley, they think, oh, that's slow and easy. They stop moving forwards, they stop punching through, they stick their racket out, the spin hits the racket and it drops. And the amount of times you'll see those volleys dumped in the net is unbelievable. So if you cannot get one of those other returns, a high one, a low one, a straight one, whatever you're trying to do, at least try and get a little bit of cut under the ball. Let that ball float up and you'll think, oh, they're just going to crush this. You'll be amazed at how many times it gets dumped in the net. Trust me, try it and then let me know in the comments. When under pressure and they're at the net and all else fails, just put a slice on the ball and you're going to buy yourself a lot of cheap points. There you have my 5 key strategies for defeating a serve and volleyer. We've talked about making sure we make the return and not letting them force us into a return we don't want to play. Then when we are able to make them stretch up or down, keeping it nice and narrow to not give them any natural angle. And finally, when all is lost, put a heavy slice on it and watch them dump it into the net. It is so enjoyable to watch them explode. These are simple strategies that if you can go through them are going to make it much more uncomfortable for that serve volleyer, and you may make them think twice. Maybe they won't serve and volley, maybe they'll stay back on the baseline where they're not so comfortable and allow you to change it up. Maybe even you can then chip and charge and play them at their own game. If you have enjoyed this video, please share it with your tennis playing friends, but not the ones you play against, especially the ones that serve and volley. You want to keep this secret. But to everyone else, let them know about these 5 tips. Give it a like. Make sure you're following the channel and we'll see you very soon on the next video.